weather. It governs our world, bringing life, death, and destruction.
God damn it, go back.
We're fine.
Oh my God! It's drowning!
Wow. World's deadliest weather is back. Bigger and badder. This time we include deadly natural disasters.
One of the most terrifying moments of my life.
Featuring earth-shattering quakes.
Yo ahí vi pasar toda mi vida. Pero yo pensé que ya no la iba a lograr.
I saw an entire building collapse.
It was like something out of a movie.
And volcanoes.
It looks like all of my wildest dreams.
Using people's extraordinary self-shot footage.
We're gonna die, dude! We gotta get out of here! Mason, get away from the windows now!
And their death-defying stories.
I remember instantly thinking, I just watched her die.
I had to turn on my inner stunt driver and just get out of there quick.
I thought I was gonna burn alive.
We go eyeball to eyeball with Mother Nature.
It's crazy! It's crazy! Come on!
And witness up close
Get on there!
the all-consuming power of the elements.
The mountain was coming to get us.
Flash right there! This place is just hell.
It was just horrific.
I had never in my life experienced anything like that.
Everybody take cover!
Coming up in this episode. 2 devastating earthquakes wreak untold carnage on Mexico.
There's a lot of yelling. People were very hysterical. It's all very scary right now.
A storm chaser gets gobbled up by the world's biggest twister.
I'm here, where are you? Where are you?
4 minutes and 20 seconds, I'm trying to work out how exactly I'm gonna die.
And an adrenaline junkie rides into the teeth of one of Britain's biggest storms.
Eleanor looked like it was going to be as bigger and bad as they come.
Mexico, 7th September 2017. In Tuxtla Gutierrez, the Miss Earth beauty pageant was in full swing, celebrating glamour with going green.
Transmitiendo la semifinal del Miss Earth México 2017.
For contestant Karen Bustos, it quickly became a night she'll never forget.
Nosotros nos encontrábamos en la semifinal de qué es lo que está pasando, de todo. Y de hecho estaban a punto a mencionar las premiaciones cuando precisamente sucedió.
A massive 8.1 magnitude earthquake had just struck off Mexico's Pacific coast, the country's biggest in a century.
De tan fuerte que estaba el temblor, me pegaba en la espalda el vidrio de tanto que se movía. Todo se empieza a mover, se empiezan a caer vasos, se empiezan a caer lámparas. Y llorando, y luego volteabas y veías a chicas pues desmayadas. O sea, es algo impresionante. Diciendo, corran, se va a caer esto.
With the hotel building under severe stress, the beauty queens were ordered to evacuate immediately down 9 flights of stairs.
Nos quitamos los tacones, corrimos con nuestras colas del vestido, cargándolas porque pesaban muchísimo, bajar rápido y que no sucediera nada más. Llegamos y todos estábamos afuera del hotel. Una de las niñas sí se convulsionó de tan impresión, de todo eso. pues fue algo impresionante de ver.
98 people died during that fateful night, with the government declaring a state of emergency. In respect, Miss Earth Mexico canceled their final show and declared Karen the champion.
Pues fue una experiencia muy grande que te deja en shock. La naturaleza, muchas de las personas o de la humanidad piensan que la naturaleza nos pertenece a nosotros y es al contrario.
As Mexico reeled from that catastrophe, just 12 days later, on the 32nd anniversary of the infamous 1985 Mexico City earthquake that killed thousands, the place was once again plunged into terror by a 7.1 magnitude earthquake. Clinging on for dear life, in their 11th floor apartment block was brother and sister Gerardo and Tanya Eichelman.
Estuvimos ahora sí que ahí batallando Tan y yo, gritando, nadie nos escuchaba, no se escuchaba nada, se escuchaban puros golpes, se escuchaba cómo la tierra crujía. A ver, yo también, y yo les decía, es que no manches, nunca me había tocado algo así. Y luego se escuchó el concreto como un... como si la pared estuviera estrujándose. Tira un edificio y el sonido del concreto chocando con el concreto y cómo empezar a escuchar. Tania estaba gritando mucho: ángeles de mi guarda, por favor, ángeles de mi guarda, cuídanme, protéjanme. Y al ver que el edificio se empezaba a cuartear, yo ahí vi pasar toda mi vida. O sea, yo pensé que ya no la iba a lograr.
Later, we'll see what happens to Gerardo and Tanya as they're taken right to the brink. We show the utter devastation wreaked on Mexico City by the killer quake.
I just ran out of a gym and I saw an entire building collapse.
And the frantic relief effort attempting to pull scores of people out under tons of rubble.
Los pobres niños estaban apanicados, eran unos gritos desgarradores.
Vete, mi niño, sale. Ya mi niño, ya no llores, mi niño.
When it comes to deadly natural disasters, earthquakes are right up there as one of the worst culprits. They kill around 8,000 people every year. $185 died in this 2011 earthquake in Christchurch, New Zealand. Measured at 6.3 on the Richter scale, the fault line was shallow and relatively close to the city, resulting in incredibly destructive shaking. A stronger 7.1 earthquake a year earlier was deeper and had no casualties. There are more earthquakes in the northern than southern hemisphere, but the South American country of Chile is particularly prone, as it sits on a junction of 3 tectonic plates.
Sí, tranquila, ven, siéntate, ven para acá. Tranquila.
It's these rubbing together that trigger seismic events.
Va a pasar.
In 2010, a massive 8.8 earthquake moved the city of Concepcion 10 feet to the west. It also fractionally shortened Earth's day by changing the rotation of the planet. Border crossings are stressful enough, But when you throw in a violent 7.8 magnitude earthquake, the only crossing is to the good Lord. The hills in Tibet have really come alive to the sound of earth tearing apart and cascading boulders. But thankfully our man-made objects are made of sterner stuff, so these people have nothing worse than the fright of their lives. Predicting earthquakes is notoriously difficult, but when it comes to being caught unawares, nothing beats this guy in Chile.
Estoy en el baño ahí, pueden ver. Se mueven las cositas. Terremoto. Yo estoy en el baño haciendo una caquita.
Even in his precarious position, he still gives a running commentary.
Algo normal en Chile. Uno viene a cagar y tiembla.
Looking on the bright side, it's one sure way to loosen the bowels.
¿Ya paró?
On the flat plains near El Reno, bang in the middle of Tornado Alley, the biggest twister of all time struck in 2013. And by a twist of fate, Australian storm chaser Daniel Shaw wound up trapped in the middle of it.
I chased storms in America for 3 months every single year, and 31st of May 2013 was just meant to be just another ordinary day. As the day progressed, we knew the conditions were ripe for a major storm. It was ready to explode, and when it did finally go, it went up like a rocket.
The El Reno twister, at 2.6 miles, was the widest tornado ever recorded, the width of Manhattan.
Oh my God!
More dangerous, it came rain-wrapped, the rainfall acting like a shroud, making it incredibly hard to track.
Directly in front of us?
Myself and my colleague Greg Ansell went after the initial storm, but then it started to evolve. It got bigger, it changed dynamics. And the wall clouds, the features that would be tornadic, were in places where it really shouldn't be. And it took a few cycles for the storm to actually develop into one mega storm. The El Reno tornado was like a multi-headed beast. I guess you could say it was dancing in the field. It became multi-vortex almost immediately.
Confirming multi-vortex wedge, extremely dangerous. Tracking path will be towards El Reno.
Not only was this an ugly, multi-headed beast sprouting many funnels, it was unpredictable, willfully changing direction.
I knew the storm was to the south of me. We knew the speed, we knew the direction.
It's tracking south. Oh God.
We had no idea the storm had overtaken us, violently changed direction north, and was sitting waiting for us to drive into it.
I'm here, where are you, where are you? There's lots of wind here, buddy.
And as we're driving into it, we're really driving to our deaths.
The mega twister had laid its evil trap, and poor old Daniel was the unsuspecting bait, about to get the shock of his life.
I think 6 seconds after I realised something's not right, that's when the semi-trailer hit me. That moment of impact was without a doubt one of the most terrifying moments of my life. And in a moment of calmness but almost panic as well, I did make the decision to pull forward just in case it flips. And what happens? It flips. And if I didn't make that split-second decision, I would have been crushed to death. That was the start. What happened next was the most terrifying 4.5 minutes of my life.
Daniel's Jeep and this 40-ton truck were now in the clutches of the twister. Blasting winds of up to 295 miles per hour, it was capable of whisking his Jeep into the air like a speck of dust.
It was like being in a dishwasher. The wind speeds inside this tornado were so great. It was just, it's nothing like I've ever experienced before. So I'm thinking, just wait it out, stay calm, it's gonna go away soon. Well, the fact is it wasn't gonna go away. It was sitting on top of me. It had no intention of leaving where I was. And for 4 minutes and 20 seconds, I'm trying to work out how exactly I'm gonna die. 4 minutes and 20 seconds of working out how you're gonna die is a long time. I guess you could say I'm fortunate in the way that that truck hit me. The fact that it was there, I was able to park my car into its canopy and use it as a buffer. It was my savior. It was my only protection. If it wasn't there, I'm certain that subvortice, when it hit, it would have taken my car and thrown me. This thing lasted a lifetime. I thought it was gone, it came back. I thought it was gone, it came back. Because the tornado reversed back over me a couple of times, it just never stopped. But when it finally started to dissipate, I could breathe a sigh of relief. The most welcoming thing I ever saw was the blue and red light flashing behind me to realise, you know what? I think I've actually made it out.
Incredibly, fate allowed the truck driver and Daniel to escape unharmed.
Go, go, go.
But 4 other storm chasers weren't as lucky, losing their lives to this gargantuan freak of nature. In all, 8 people died. There were 151 casualties and an estimated $40 million of damages.
What made the El Reno tornado so different is the size. It was gigantic. It was a series of tornadoes hidden within themselves. It did things no other tornado has ever done before. And for this to be a record-breaking tornado, the mammoth of all tornadoes, just proves how unpredictable Mother Nature can be. This thing was the devil.
When our mighty Mother Nature vents her fury, us mere mortals react in a variety of ways.
Woo! This is a hurricane, baby! Ha, ha!
This mailman in Pennsylvania isn't going to let a violent storm get in the way of his delivery service.
My car's being pushed! Woo! I gotta deliver mail, son!
As 80 miles per hour winds batter his mail van, it's in danger of flipping over.
Literally, my back end lifted up.
Ha, ha! I gotta deliver the mail!
This is a fine example of defiance in the face of extreme adversity. This woman is watching the tail end of Hurricane Irma tear into a tree in her backyard.
Oh my God, I can't even believe it. This ground is lifting up and down. This giant tree. Holy sh... Holy... That's terrifying, anybody watching.
This is a classic case of overreaction.
I think I'm gonna start crying. Oh my God. Lord have mercy.
Even her child agrees.
It's not even that bad.
While over in Jacksonville, Florida,
Goddamn rain is coming down!
this man's reaction to Irma felling a tree can only be described as extremely excitable.
You can see the tree right behind me just blew out the railing, and then the spark came down like that and hit right in this soft. They just knocked that whole thing off kilter like that.
This guy in Los Angeles is marveling at a heavy rainstorm.
Ooh, it's gonna be coming down for a while now, boy.
It all feels pretty uneventful until...
Oh, look! Oh!
only way you can describe his reaction is stunned.
Oh! Oh!
The power of this twister has literally removed his power of speech.
Oh!
Still to come, one of the world's most active volcanoes blows its top.
My mate was running, and I've started running too.
And an extreme kite surfer takes on a gale force storm.
It's like a battle you have. It's like you're fighting this storm.
Like earthquakes, volcanoes are found on Earth's fault lines, weak spots that allow them to vent their fury. In the Central American country Guatemala, the Motagua Fault has spawned 29 of these fiery monsters. Just the place for adventure traveller, New Zealand's Steve Rice.
If you go to a crazier destination, you meet more interesting and crazier travellers. Everyone's saying, go to Guatemala, go to Guatemala. And I thought, well, maybe I should go check this Guatemala out. And somehow I was looking on videos, and it was a guy standing on this rim of this volcano, and I'm thinking, I'm going to go and do that.
The volcano Steve stumbled across was Santiaguito, famous for its clockwork-like eruptions.
Wow, wow, wow! Wow, 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 wow! ¡Qué grande, man!
I'm observing the volcano, right? Because I want to go up it. And it erupts every 20 or 30 minutes on cue. Because it's erupting every 20, 30 minutes, it's releasing pressure, and it's predictable. And I'm thinking, it's safe. I mean, I'm not a volcanologist. There's an odd chance you could perish.
In February 2016, Steve turned his dream into a reality, joining a motley crew on an expedition up Santiaguito.
One guy was French, the other guy was a Belgian guy. He didn't have a jumper, so he's put on a sleeping bag and he's just walking around the mountain with his sleeping bag on, you know, because he's trying to keep warm. The trekking is a little bit tricky, and when you're climbing up through these old extinct craters, then these big plants, they're all covered in ash because of all the ash coming off this volcano. Once you get close, there's no plant growth whatsoever. It was just like barren, like a moonscape.
Can you hear anything? No, can't hear nothing. Can't see nothing. Can't hear nothing.
And there's just huge rocks, and these rocks have been thrown out of a volcano somewhere, and they're stacked all around the place, you know, and there's ash on everything. Yeah, there was something scary about that volcano. It was covered in mist. And you can hear rocks creaking like the ground's moving. And we camped there in the evening. It was pretty good. You could hear the mountain rumble.
That evening, a bit like a grumpy giant with indigestion, the volcano spewed forth, giving Steve a taste of its awe-inspiring power.
Wow. I felt it.
I contacted my family and I said, if I die, I said, you know, so-and-so can have my truck. I mean, I did think I could die.
The next morning, as Steve closed in on the crater summit, the signs this was a highly volatile volcano grew ever more alarming.
The whole mountain, there's vents everywhere and there's steam coming out. That's actually the only time I was sort of nervous. You know, the ground can blow up underneath you. When I just walked over the rim, it was kind of spooky. It sounds like a jet airplane. It just makes this whirring sound, but the sound's changing all the time because of the pressure.
As Steve peered into this primordial seething pit,
I'm scared, but I'm excited at the same time.
Santiaguito spontaneously woke up.
Shake the area out, mate.
I just remember it'll happen pretty quickly. The ash cloud, it is actually really high. The ash cloud is really big. I was almost like standing there going, wow. Oh my golly gosh. And I turned around and my mate was running. And I've started running too. Like rocks. Oh. And I sort of got out of there at the right time.
Having had Santiaguito blow up in his face, bizarrely, it's encouraged Steve to return.
That was a special moment for us. We survived. We made it.
And celebrate the crater in his own distinctly weird way.
I'd go back to film it again better. I'd go up with some real cool camera equipment and, you know, make it really dramatic. I could just do cartwheels around the rim while I'm waiting for it to erupt.
We all know a deadly byproduct of volcanoes is lava, superheated molten rock. Somewhere under the rainbow, in Hawaii, one of the most volcanically active places on the planet, this fiery river oozes from a lava tube. Bright orange indicates temperatures at 1,000 degrees Celsius plus, while dark red is a comparatively cool 700. But even this will destroy anything in its path. Although under a vivid rainbow, it's also breathtakingly beautiful. When this superheated molten rock meets cold water, the effect is spectacular. As Hawaii is an island archipelago in the middle of the Pacific, this sight is not uncommon. Depending on viscosity, lava can flow at any speed up to 40 miles per hour. As this lava waterfall strikes the ocean, the water flash boils into clouds of steam. A ready-made ocean hot tub, courtesy of Mother Nature. Sound travels at just over 1,000 feet a second, but it's positively sluggish compared to the speed of light. As proved by this volcano blowing its top in Papua New Guinea. You can see the shock waves rippling through the sky before the sonic boom hits.
Watch out for the shock, it's coming. Holy smoking Toledos.
This man is living proof that lava can fry brain cells at a distance.
We're in the middle of some sort of, I think this is planet Mars. I'm not too sure. But guys, what we're going to be doing today is we are going to be putting this in some molten lava, straight up lava, and we're going to see if it survives, guys.
Yes, you heard right. He's curious to see if his very expensive smartphone will withstand 1,000-degree lava.
Let's go ahead and see what happens, guys.
Well, guys, I can tell you for free, it can't. Sure enough, within seconds, it's toast.
Oh, it's on fire, it's on fire. Yeah, that thing is pretty much done for you guys now.
No kidding.
Oh, okay, look at that battery, though. Dude, this thing's so hot.
January 3rd, 2018. Storm Eleanor was battering Britain, threatening lives and causing widespread destruction. Whilst everyone was running for shelter, in Portsmouth, on England's south coast, Sam Light was preparing to risk all for the ultimate thrill.
I've been kitesurfing now for 14 years, and I've been professional for 10 years. I definitely consider myself a storm chaser because I look out for those storms brewing the Atlantic coming into the UK, and I'll make sure I'm there to ride them as they come in. There had been lots of weather warnings, you know, talks about 80-mile-an-hour winds hitting the coast, massive storm surges and waves. And Eleanor looked like it was going to be as bigger and bad as they comes. And that just gives me butterflies in my stomach, like it gets me excited.
As Sam got ready to set off for Hailing Island, a popular kite surfing spot, conditions were more than living up to their billing. With waves 6 feet high and gusts up to 100 miles per hour.
There's a certain window that would be the best time to ride. Generally in strong winds and storms, you get the biggest waves at high tide, and I want to go out in the biggest winds and the biggest waves. So it's right on the edge of the limit. This was definitely one of the biggest storms I've seen in the UK, about as windy as it gets. Every year people push the limits more and more, and a few people just push the limits too far. 2 people had to be put in an induced coma for a week because they hit the water so hard that they passed out and were unconscious and had so much water in their lungs that they were literally seconds away from dying. That really brought it home for me.
As Sam reached Hailing Island, the place was deserted. Understandably, no one thought it wise to risk their neck.
There were massive, massive waves coming at the beach. Woo! Could barely even walk to the beach, let alone go kite surfing in it. People do look at you like you're crazy. There were really, really strong winds, but gusty winds, so it was kind of pot luck as to whether you'd get the timing right with the wind and the waves. You're at the mercy of the elements. You've got big waves and big winds, especially in storms. It's like a battle you have. It's like you're fighting this storm. When it gets that windy, the wind is so cyclonic, so there's massive variations between the gusts and the lulls. It'll go from 30 knots to 60 knots, which affects the kite hugely, so it can suddenly pull you across the beach, or it can fall out the sky. Massive variances, so you have to be really, really careful.
But gale-force blustery winds weren't the biggest threat. As it was the height of winter, any mishap in freezing 7 degrees Celsius seawater could lead to the deadly cycle of hyperventilation, then hypothermia within minutes.
In Storm Eleanor, the temperature of the water was the most dangerous thing to me, because if something broke and there's so much water moving around that I wouldn't be able to swim back to the beach. So I would actually stay fairly close to the beach the whole time, doing my jumps and stuff, but then that does add another degree of risk, because jumping near the beach is also dangerous because you don't want to land on the beach. It's all about sort of finding that balance.
Staying in this safer zone, though, had one further punishing challenge. It meant tackling the crashing breakers near the shoreline.
The waves were recorded at about 2 meters, and yeah, that's about as big a waves as we get here. There's a lot of different variables that can go wrong, you know, with the waves and the wind, the gust, controlling the kite. And if you get one of those slightly wrong, then you know, the water turns to concrete. And when you're falling from 20 meters, as soon as, you go unconscious, then you don't have much chance of surviving. I had a few waves and a few gusts that came through that were just right, and I was jumping really, really big. But I had one in particular where I caught the top of the wave and the lip just broke, and it actually sent me much, much higher than usual, and I had to sort of regain control in the air. But I still did have a crash landing. Maybe I don't have enough appreciation for Mother Nature, hence why I was out in those conditions. And I think it's that feeling of like the adrenaline and just conquering the storm gets me out there every time, and I just love it.
When gale force winds meet our wild oceans, things can turn pretty ugly fast. This car ferry on the US-Canada border is plowing through white-flecked giant waves. You definitely don't want to be parked at the front. This woman can only watch on helplessly as her vehicle gets an impromptu car wash. The only problem is this seawater one corrodes and plays havoc with the electrics. When the ocean boils under storm force winds, spare a thought for those poor souls trapped on an oil rig. 60-foot wind-streaked waves are rocking this platform like a cradle. Not that anyone on board is getting any sleep, due to seasickness and pure, naked fear. Staying with riders of the storm, while most people batten down hatches in the face of force 10 winds, this guy gleefully heads out on his windsurfer. But it's worth all the effort, as he practically goes into orbit. The biggest jumps would clear some houses. Although fall wrong from those heights, it could bring tears to your eyes. This kayaker sets out for a paddle on an ominous, stormy-looking day. And sure enough, fork lightning signals a dangerous storm. 3 miles from land, he literally has to paddle for his life. Not only is he battling 70-mile-per-hour winds, but his kayak sensors are flashing up vicious 15 feet a second rip currents. There's a well-known saying about creeks and paddles, and this guy is right up it. But he survives by the skin of his teeth. Earlier, we saw how in 2017, 2 catastrophic earthquakes struck Mexico days apart. Although the second quake was weaker, at 7.1 magnitude, it was far deadlier, as the epicenter was just outside Mexico City, one of the world's largest conurbations. American traveler Henry Edrovo was caught up in the mass panic.
Stepped outside and my first reaction was just to stand still, and I really froze. I didn't know exactly what to do.
I'm in Condesa neighborhood in Mexico City, and I just ran out of a gym and I saw an entire building collapse. It's right here in front of me.
It was surreal. It was like something out of a movie. It was very scary. There was a lot of loud noise, but I can still hear the screaming in the background. It was a terrible sound.
There's a lot of yelling. People were very hysterical. It's all very scary right now. People are pointing out that there's tall buildings and that they're trying to get away from them right now. There's a tall building behind me right now and everyone doesn't want to stand next to it.
After I felt like I was in a secure area, the first thing that just crossed my mind was maybe I should do something, maybe I can help.
I'm gonna try to get into that building that collapsed. Maybe there's something I can do to help.
But when Henry got there, he was met by a far more sinister, life-threatening danger.
They're mentioning there's a gas leak.
The pipes in which all the gas run through are not underground. Many of them are above ground. And so that's why it was much more likely for there to be a gas leak.
There's a lot of really bad smoke coming this way. Everyone's moving away from it.
It was just chaos. Some people were running down the left side of the street, other people were running down the right side. Just panic in the air.
A few blocks away, an even more distressing emergency was emerging. A school had collapsed with pupils and teachers inside, in scenes viewers might find harrowing. Charity worker Roberto Torres was one of the first people to arrive.
Escucho el ruido horrible cuando se derrumba un edificio y aparte veo la nube de humo. De repente escucho una explosión, como que el gas sale a mayor presión y entonces comienzo yo como loco a gritar.
El gas se está escapando, rápido. El gas se está escapando, saca a todos. Se está escapando el gas.
En eso escucho gritar.
Se quedó mucha gente abajo. Se quedó gente abajo. Está gritando. A ver, asómense por ahí porque están gritando por ahí. A ver, gríteles.
Lloridos de niños en el hueco.
¡Ey! ¡Aquí hay niños! ¡Ayuden! ¡Aquí hay niños! Y están gritando.
Tengan cuidado.
¡Ayude a alguien! ¡Que entre alguien chiquito! ¡Que entre y lo saque! ¡Aquí hay niños!
Yo puedo entrar.
Los niños perfectamente los vi amontonados. Imagínense 7, 8 niños llorando horriblemente. Los pobres niños estaban apanicados, eran unos gritos desgarradores.
Vente por ahí, vente por ahí.
Y les decíamos, vengan, caminen. Los inducíamos para que caminaran hacia nosotros, porque ahí había una rendija por donde los teníamos que sacar.
Aquí, mira. Pero por aquí, ¿cuántos hay? Aquí, mi amor, Tranquilo, espérate, mi amor, vente.
Los niños al vernos, pues vieron luz, iban caminando y iban saliendo.
Sácala por allá. Ven, mi amor, vente, mi niño. Sale. Ya, mi niño, ya no llores, mi niño.
Cuando ya veo que sacamos entre 6 niños o 7 niños,
grítale al otro, ya había otro.
Veo que la maestra comienza a entrar pánico de que se habían quedado atorados 2 niños, entonces yo les comienzo.
A ver, me voy a meter, ten.
While Roberto wrestled with how to free the 2 school kids. At their high-rise apartment block, brother and sister Gerardo and Tanya Eichelman were struggling to recover from the fright of their lives.
Al terminar el temblor, yo pensé que la Ciudad de México se había venido abajo. Nos dijo... Yo sabía que podía haber una réplica ahí. Entonces le dije a Tania, vámonos en friega para abajo. Todos los departamentos íbamos bajando y cada piso tenía un daño diferente.
Vámonos, Edgar.
Estaba angustiado, bueno, yo estaba angustiadísimo por la gente. Dije, ¿cuánta gente no perdió la vida en esto? Me sentía yo como un suertudo, con mucha suerte de haber salido bien del edificio. La verdad, fueron emociones que no quiero volver a repetir nunca en mi vida. Fueron muy fuertes y me marcaron.
Meanwhile, at the collapsed school, One of the trapped school kids had been rescued, but the other was pinned down, unable to move.
Al ver que nadie se metía, en mi desesperación me brinco y le digo a un muchacho, ten mi teléfono, le doy mi teléfono, me brinco, me meto por el hueco y bajo, y como a pecho tierra me comienzo a meter. Yo jamás, de los jamases, me había metido a un derrumbe ni a una cueva así. Cuando él siente mi mano, entonces sí, se viene conmigo.
Espérate, mi amor. Espérate.
Through this selfless act, Roberto saved the remaining child and afterwards was hailed for his bravery.
Me dicen uno, oye, eres un héroe y todo. Pues yo ayudé por un instinto. Yo ayudé porque yo creo que cualquier ser humano tiene que ayudar.
Sadly, 19 children and 6 adults died in this primary school tragedy. In all, the catastrophic Mexico City earthquake claimed 363 lives, prompting President Enrique Peña Nieto to call for 3 days of national mourning. It was one of the most heartbreaking chapters in the country's history, and one people like Roberto still struggles with.
Pues se murieron sus niños. Y la verdad es que a mí me mató eso. Cada que voy a la oficina veo a las mamás como hincadas están todavía rezándole a sus pequeños. Todavía me duelen, esos papás todavía me duelen.
In this episode, we've seen Mother Nature's awesome power. Up close and personal. We've seen how helpless we can be. We've seen her tear down, destroy, and laugh in our faces. And next time, there will be more. Because deadly weather stops for no one.